Good afternoon to all. Welcome to our faculty development program on smart cities and Internet of Things sponsored by AICT Atal. Myself, Jailal Sarkar, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Tripura University. Now we have a talk based on IoT access technologies and protocols by Professor Subhash Chandra Jadhav. Professor Subhash Chandra Jadhav is the professor and head Department of Computer Science and Technology, Central University of Jharkhand. Sir has more than 25 years of teaching and IT industry experience. Dr. Jadhav is a young and dynamic academician in the field of computer science and technology. Apart from carrying academic responsibility, he has contributed to Computer Society of India CSI as a National Chairman Education and Research Division 5 for the year of 2019 and 2021 and founder chairman Varanasi chapter and ISCA in the capacity of sectional member, sectional recorder, and also sectional president for the year of 2013 and 14. Taken various initiatives for the designation of computer literacy in the society by organizing various workshops, seminars in the Eastern UP Bihar and organized computer awareness and literacy programs in villages of Jharkhand. Sir has published so many research articles in the reputed journal and publication. Now I welcome you to sir. Please deliver your talk. Thank you, sir. Please come forward, sir.
Thank you, Abhishek. My voice is audible?
Yes, sir. Your voice is audible, sir. And
okay,
your
thank
slide
you.
also visible.
Oh, thank you, Abhishek. Very, very congratulations to you, Abhishek ji, with your team, particularly JL Sarkar, your research scholar in Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Very nice. You people have contacted me to deliver a talk on this topic. Abhishek ji, I am able to hear the echo of my own voice.
Sir, it is properly audible, sir. And
but I am getting echo of my voice.
No, sir. It is audible, sir. Properly audible, sir. There is
audible,
no echo
but I am getting return back reflection of my voice from the system. Okay, let me check. Just to do check the system voice. Who is the host?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are checking, sir.
Actually, I am getting the echo of my own voice.
Okay, sir. Sir, you can do once again, sir. So one thing, sir. You can join once again, sir. You can leave and join once again. I think there is some network issue. So kindly, sir.
Your voice is clearly audible.
Yes,
but
sir.
While I am speaking, I am able to listen my own voice.
Okay, okay, sir. Please leave, sir. Again you join, sir. Then I think then problem will be solved.
Okay, now again, is it?
From our end, sir, it is very, very clear, sir. There is no echo and nothing. And
but a lot of echo, Abhishek ji.
Okay. So now it is
I'm
okay.
getting return back my voice, able to listen the voice. Let me stop the sharing. My voice is audible.
Yes, sir. It is audible now, sir.
But again, the problem, I'm getting reflection of my voice. Okay, let me try. Otherwise, voice is clearly audible.
Yes, sir. From our end, it is totally audible, sir. Clearly audible.
Okay.
Sir, you can use speaker also, sir, if it is.
I'm using laptop. The inbuilt speaker is there.
Okay.
What about the screen?
Yes, sir. Screen is visible, sir.
But I'm not visible. Only screen is displayed in front of me. Okay, let me continue. If in any case of network disturbance, please just do ring me. I will reconnect it.
Sir.
Because right now I am sitting far from the city headquarter, 26 kilometer in a rural area. Okay, let's start. Very good afternoon, all the participants and delegates. It's a very nice FDP is going on, being conducted by the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Tripura University, particularly Abhishek ji is taking the lead role. The topic of my deliberation is IoT access technologies and what are the different technologies being used nowadays while we are handling with the Internet of Things and Internet of Everything. Mainly, we are going to discuss the brief introduction, a little bit about the architectural aspects related with the Internet of Things. Then what are the technologies, particularly you can say what are the networking technologies being used nowadays while we are dealing with IoT systems or while we are dealing with IoT connectivity. It's nice. So let's continue. Abhishek ji?
Yes, sir. You can proceed,
Okay,
sir.
okay,
Yes.
please.
Yes.
So in technologies of IoT connectivity means whatever the networking devices, networking connectivity, how the network is being connected, how the sensor and acquisitor are being connected in the system. Definitely, we will discuss about the standard wireless access technologies and what are the private long range technologies and what are the mobile IoT technologies for getting the IoT system in connection. So dear friends, as you are well aware about the IoT architecture, for any IoT architecture or for any successful system of IoT, while you will say this architecture is successful, this system is successful, until unless it will not function properly, it will be scalable, it will be available for all users, end users and the servers, and moreover one another aspect, maintainability. Without addressing these conditions, these clause, you can say the IoT system is a total failure. If any system has been built that is not properly functioning, it's not scalable, it is not available for all the devices connected in the system, and if it is not properly maintainable, we will say the system is not working properly. It means the performance is not up to date, it's not accurate. In fact, if we will talk of IoT architecture, there are three layers. One layer at the client side, that is also known as device layer in the system. Operators on the server side, it means IoT gateway layer. Third one is your pathway for connecting clients and these operators residing on the server, means platform. So the three separate layers that make IoT architecture. And as you know, this architecture means the system comprises of numerous elements, and these elements are of heterogeneous nature. What are those elements? Sensors are there, protocols are there, actuators are there, cloud services is there, and the layers which just we have discussed in the previous slide. These all things makes the IoT system a very complex. It gives the complexity of the architecture. I will talk about architecture in much more detail. It comprises of 4 stages. I will discuss a little bit and come to the topic, main topic. Stage 1, you can say wireless sensors or actuators. Why I am discussing all these things? Because we will work in wireless environment. We will work for data acquisition. Then we will able to understand the related protocols very well. So there are 4 stages of this IoT architecture. Number 1 is wireless sensor and actuators. Second, the data acquisition system, whether data is being gathered at the local or it is being gathered on the server, as being gathered on the cloud. Third one is edge analytics. Fourth one is data center and clouds. And what are the things is displayed on the right side at the stage 1? Wireless sensor and actuators means whatever the network things are there. Because if we will abbreviate IoT, it comes of Internet of Things. So everybody knows here what are the things here, sensor and actuators. So stage 1, network things. Stage 2, whatever the data being gathered by the sensors. And this sensor data goes to the aggregation system and analogs to digital and digital to analog conversion take place. That comes on the stage 2. Third one is edge analytics. The appearance of IT system, the appearance of emerging technologies in information technology. This nowadays, this edge analytics, edge computing, going to play a vital and important role in IoT system. I will brief. I have 2-3 slides for that. I will cover in the next session. Stage 4 is it comprises of how data is being analyzed, how data is being managed, and how data is going to be stored, where and how. So these are the 4 stages related with IoT architecture. So dear friends, let's have a brief about this edge computing. Because IoT is the nowadays totally reliable on edge computing. It is also known as just edge. It brings the processing close to the data source, and it does not need to be sent to a remote cloud or another centralized system for processing. There is a edge. If you will see the slides, there is a circle drawn. It means the devices kept are there. They are able to gather the data. They are able to capture the data. Moreover, if you can say, by eliminating the distance and time it takes to send the data to the centralized sources, we can improve the speed and performance of data transport, as well as device and application on the edge. Whatever the devices and applications are deployed at the edge, we are getting better transportation, better storage of data. It means edge computing pushes the intelligence, processing power, and communication capabilities of an edge gateway or application directly into devices like programmable automation controller, that is also known as PAC devices. Edge computing places intelligence and processing power in devices, means Internet of Things devices, such as embedded automation controller. Here I am having an example how this edge computing works. Take an example of petroleum refinery. Actually, a sensor are deployed here in the valves, in the pipeline, in the what is the petroleum pipeline is coming from the refinery to port the oil. It's detected dangerously high pressure in the pipe. Suppose anytime, anywhere in this pipeline, if the pressure, the flow pressure in the pipes is uh, overcoming the dangerous benchmark, it means the flow of the liquids, it should be stopped. It should be shut off as soon as possible. Otherwise, this pressure can lead to a disaster. If this controlling system is placed at a remote place, and it will take too much time to get the set of instruction from the devices deployed at the remote place. But due to edge computing, what is happening there? This processing power is placed to the local place. At the in device, it means latency is less. And that round trip, that can be switched off. It means the time can be significantly reduced, potentially saving downtime, damage to the property, even damage to the life. If we will able to stop the blast in the pipeline, it means it will save the lives. This is the real example of edge computing. Means the processing unit is placed near to the location. With introduction of edge devices that provides local computing and storage, it was the example from the refinery. Now, how we will define this edge computing? It can be defined as a part of a distributed computing topology in which information processing is located very close to the edge, where the things and the people produces or consume that information, right? In another way, we can say edge computing is transforming the way of data is being handled, data is being processed, and data is being delivered from millions of devices around the world. And dear friends, this explosive growth of internet connected devices, that is your IoT, along with new applications that requires real-time computing power, continues to drive edge computing system. This is the concept behind the edge computing. And this is very frequently used in IoT architecture and IoT systems. As a concluding remark, I can say,
Sir, hello,
yes,
sir.
please.
Yeah, sir, I
Yes.
think your slides are not changing.
Oh, just let me check it.
Now it has come to slide number 9, but still
Okay,
before that
right
it
now,
was it's now slide number 1, 9. It's 9.
9. It means
Yes.
I should continue from this.
Yeah. You can continue, sir.
Okay. Just a minute. It is visible on the full screen or it's small? Abhishek ji, is it visible full screen?
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yes.
No, it's not full screen, sir. It's not
Now
in not in slideshow mode. Means
it is
not in
displayed on the screen or not?
it is displayed on the screen, but not in slideshow mode. Means not full screen. The slide is not at the full screen.
Okay, but here I'm able to get the full
So,
screen.
sir, you can do one thing. You can stop sharing, then share your entire screen, not application wise.
Okay, let me. Screen and application. Let me
Yeah,
share the screen inside the
screen,
screen.
entire screen. Yeah, then it will be okay.
Share. Echo is there? A lot of echo.
Yeah, echo has come.
Several devices are connected, I think. Screen is displayed.
Yeah.
Let me run this slide.
Yeah, you can now give the slideshow mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's fine. Fine, sir. Fine.
Okay. We are at the definition, then at the concluding remark. For the deployment of IT devices and the arrival of 5G means first wireless, placing compute and analytic close to where data is created is making the case of edge computing. Faster network technologies such as 5G wireless are allowing for edge computing system to accelerate the operations or support of real-time applications such as video processing, analytics, self-driving cars, artificial intelligence, and many, many more examples are nowadays in the health system, in environment, in space, using IoT devices. Few of them network technologies, access technologies, we are going to discuss in the next section. Technologies for IT connectivity. It was already displayed. The three main networking technologies for IoT connectivity are there. Number one, standard wireless access, private long range, mobile IoT. Means if we'll talk about standard wireless access, the protocols use a Wi-Fi, 2G, 3G, and standard LTE. While we are talking about private long range, we will talk about LoRa-based platform, Zigbee, and Sigfox protocols. While we'll talk about mobile IoT, number of important protocols being used is LTE, LTE-M, NB-IoT, and EC-GSM IoT. About few of them we are going to discuss in detail. Dear friends, the main processes on the last stage of IoT architecture happens in the only data center or cloud. Data that needs more in-depth processing and where feedback does not have to be immediate gets forwarded to physical data center or cloud-based system where more powerful IoT systems can be analyzed, managed, and securely stores the data. It takes longer to get results when you wait until data reaches stage 4, which we have discussed, but you can execute a more in-depth analysis as well as combine your sensor data with data from the sensor from deeper inside. Fine. So, dear friends, what are the changes being observed in the standard wireless technologies? Device manufacturers cannot wait until forever they need to factor the pro and cons of all the supportive technology whatever coming, but the main focus is the service providing. It entirely depends on the network being deployed in the IoT system, and the future will tell which technology will prevails in the market. So, dear friends, these are the some Wi-Fi 2G, 3G, and standard LTE technologies. Nowadays, in your home appliances, in the offices, you have seen several examples like smart TV, gaming consoles, panic buttons, video surveillances, e-health, fleet tracking, and industrial IoT. Everywhere you will get the example of this Wi-Fi 2G, 3G, and LTE. Uh, in this the slide which is displayed, I have just tried to show what are the increasing services from the consumer's point of view is there. uh, Mobile services, and what are the technology behind it, what was early there. While we are using the mobile phones, simply we communicate with another subscriber, we communicate with another user. At that time, what are the protocols we are using? We are simply using the GSM and GPRS, CDMA IS 95. But as the requirement of users increases, the users has started downloading the music and the videos, and the protocols has been changed. WCDMA, HSDP requirement further increases. User wants to upload their own data, means the features of download and upload both. Then HSUPA protocols has been used. Nowadays, what is happening? Real-time latency sensitivity is there. Means video conferencing is there, video streaming is there. So protocol we are using eVideo revision B, so version B, HSPA plus. Later on, at this stage, earlier stage, seamless fixed mobile convergence. We are able to use the internet parallelly, and we are able to converse with another subscriber parallelly. High quality of service, real-time service, high-end videos, MODs, etc. It means you are using LTE nowadays. So within this caption, standard wireless access, I will cover this LTE in brief. It stands for long-term evolution. LTE means long-term evolution. If you have a smartphone, just go at the top of the screen. What is displayed there? You will get two things are written there: LTE and VoLTE. Is it written there? It means nowadays we are using long-term evolution. It's a standard for 4G wireless broadband technology that offers increased network capacity and speed to mobile device user. Widely known as 4G. Nowadays, we people are using the 4D. Both are the synonymous. LTE and 4G are synonymous. That is the next generation of mobile technology. It's providing high-speed data transfer rates. LTE offers high peak data transfer rates, that is up to 100 Mbps, downstream 50 Mbps upstream. It also provides reduced latency, scalable bandwidth capacity, and backward compatibility with existing GSM and UMTS technologies. Future developments could yield peak throughput on the order of 300 Mbps. What is their VoLTE? Means voice over LTE. Is a new technology with which users can place phone call over the LTE network as data packets instead of as a typical phone call. This is called packet voice, and it can share packets along the network of several phone conversations. It means after the emergence of voice over LTE, the subscriber, the user, are parallelly able to have a conversation and parallelly able to use the internet services. Nowadays people are using WhatsApp and different social media networking sites through their smartphone. This has happened only due to emergence of VoLTE. All these technologies nowadays we are using in the IoT systems. I have just a comparison between. Just a minute. For 2 minutes, I would like to have a break because some students are making noise. I will come back in 1 minute. अरे बच्चों, अरे बच्चों, ए बेटा, हेलो, क्लास चल रही है, थोड़ा सा शांति रहो. Okay, am I audible? Abhishek ji, you are connected? Yeah, JL Sarkar.
Yes, sir, you are audible. Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, so here I am going to have a comparison between this LTE and VoLTE. What is the differences between them? Here in LTE, user needs external software for video call on LTE network like WhatsApp, Facebook, and Skype. And what is there in VoLTE? No external software is needed, but just phone number to make a video call. LTE, it may not support voice call and data services together. But VoLTE, voice over LTE, it supports voice call and data services together. LTE, it targets increasing data rates on 4G bandwidth only. It targets both internet data and voice calling without affecting each other. Means simultaneously, parallelly, user can have a conversation and have the internet connection for data transfer. It takes around 7 seconds to connect a call on 3G network. On another hand, it connects the users only a few seconds. Less than 1 second time is needed. But mandatory is what is there? Both user must be on voice over LTE network. Then the connection will be resumed within 1 second fraction of time. It was launched in year 2012 by Airtel in India. LTE was launched, and the VoLTE was launched by Jio in 2016. Nowadays, 5G is there, 6G is there. But in India, probably we didn't have 5G services. In abroad, the peoples are working on 6G. So, dear friends, the first section was standard wireless, Wi-Fi, 2G, 3G, and standard LTE. I have covered the standard LTE protocol with comparison of voice over LTE. Now the second, private long range. Here I have picked 3 important protocols: LoRa-based platform, Zigbee, and SIG-5. So let's have a discussion about the very first one, LoRa-based platform. This is for short for long range. LoRa, long range, LORA. LoRa बोले तो long range. It is spread spectrum modulation technique derived from chip spread spectrum technology. You may ask, what is this chirp spectrum technology? I have just a few lines on that. Is a long-range radio frequency technology for wireless communication. That is simply known as chirp spectrum. CCS are simply a chip that can be leveraged to detect and track the location of people, assets, and devices both in and outdoor across large scale facilities. It is a long range performance with high reliability, strong resistance to the radio interference, and low power consumptions make chirp uniquely suitable for applications in large, noisy environment like industrial facilities. Like other communication protocols, including ultra-wideband and Bluetooth, chirp can be used to transmit data between devices through radio waves. It does so by using wideband modulation techniques that creates a linear frequency modulation signals, also known as chirp. Dear friends, you may ask a question here, how this chirp is different from the other positioning technologies. So there are 4 parameters we have compared. Number 1, location accuracy, range, latency, power consumption, cost, and frequencies. Just have a summary in this table. What is there with CCS chirp? The location accuracy, it works between 1 to 2 meter. On other hand, UWB 10 to 50 centimeter, Bluetooth technology less than 5 meter, and Wi-Fi less than 10 meters. Range 10 to 500 meters. In case of UWB 0 to 50 meters, it can be upgraded, increased up to range 200 meters. Optimal, what is there in Bluetooth? 0 to 25 meters. It can be scalable up to 100 meters. And Wi-Fi 0 to 50 meters. Latency time is less than 1 millisecond to get location. UWB less than 1 to get location. Bluetooth typically 3 to 5 seconds to get the location. And if the system is you are using Wi-Fi, typically 3 to 5 seconds to get the location of any device get connected. Power consumptions very low. Option for embedded cell battery is selected hardware options. Low option for embedded cell battery is selected hardware the same. So, but here Wi-Fi is moderated as per the need. And the price cost, it depends on the country to country. Frequency, ISM band 2.4 gigahertz. Here in the case of UWB 3.1 to 10.6 gigahertz, and for Bluetooth to 2.4 gigahertz, and Wi-Fi 2.4 to 5 gigahertz. This was a small comparison between this chirp, UWB, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi. Let's come back again to the LoRa-based platform. Actually, SIM-Tech LoRa device and wireless radio frequency technology is a long-range, low-power wireless platform that has become the de facto technology for Internet of Things. It's a very, very frequently used and very important. While we are keeping several internet devices in the network. LoRa technology and the Open LoRaWAN protocol enables smart IoT applications that solve some of the biggest challenges facing our planet. We can use that for energy management, natural resource reduction, population control, infrastructure efficiency, disaster prevention, and many more areas are there for LoRa. SIM-Tech LoRa technology has amassed several hundred known use cases for smart city, smart home and buildings, smart agriculture, smart metering, smart supply chain and logistics, and more. With 105 million devices connected to the network in 100 countries and growing, LoRa technology is the DNA of IoT, creating a smarter planet. What are the key features associated with LoRa? Number one is long range, as its name reveals. Connects device up to 30 miles apart in rural area and penetrates dense urban or deep indoor environments. One of the biggest feature, deep environment, what is happening there? Once you have parked your vehicle in a basement, oftenly we come to know that there is a poor network connectivity. But while we are using LoRa technology, it will work in the basement, means in indoor environment. Low power consumptions requires minimal energy with prolonged battery lifetime of up to 10 years. It means it will minimize the battery replacement cost. One simple phenomena all of you have observed, the people who are having the smartphone start using the video call, within 1 hour or 2 hours your battery will get exhausted. It means nowadays while we are using the IoT devices, the battery consumption, and to minimize the battery consumptions is one of the important and very crucial tasks. And how the technology is going to affect that. LoRa is the example. Secure and end-to-end encryption, mutual authentication, integrity protection, and confidentiality pertains there between the devices connected in the environment, or you can say in the system and the architecture. High capacity supports millions of messages per base station, meeting the need of public network operators serving large market. Obviously, standardized offers devices interoperability and global availability of the LoRaWAN networks for speedy deployment of IoT applications anywhere. The key features of the LoRa. Geolocations enables GPS free tracking applications, offering unique low power benefits, untouched by other technologies. Is uncomparable while we talking about the location. Mobile maintains communication with devices in motion without strain on power consumptions. That we have already covered. Low power requirements is there. It means while you are in moving position, while the station search for your location for network, while your device search for network, it requires too much battery. It means the LoRa technology is also going to minimize the power consumption while your device is in motion. Suppose you have a embedded IoT device in your car. It means the battery will drastically reduced. So use of technology, low cost, reduce infrastructure investment, battery replacement expenses, and ultimately operational expenses will get reduced while we are using LoRa technology in IoT environment. In private long range, another very frequently used protocol is ZigBee. IEEE 802.15.1 protocol is a specification created for wireless networking. ZigBee communication is especially built for control and sensor networks. IEEE standard for wireless sensor, WPAN, and it is the product from ZigBee Alliances. It includes hardware and software standard designed for wireless sensor networks requiring high reliability, low cost, low power, scalability, and low data rates. WSN consists in expensive wireless sensors which are capable of collecting, storing, processing environmental information and communicating to the neighbors node. For example, WSN at home can be used for high control, heating, ventilation, air condition, security monitoring, and emergency event detection in the residence, in the house. This communication standard defines physical and MAC, media access control layers, to handle many devices at a time at a low data rates. This Zigbee WPANs operates at a 868 megahertz, 902 to 920 megahertz, and 2.4 gigahertz frequencies. The data rate of 250 kbps is the best suited for this periodics as well as intermediate two-way transmission of data between sensor and controller. Briefly, there is an application layer and application framework, network securities. This Zigbee specification displays there. Means Zigbee is in IEEE 802.15.4 based technology built on the physical layer and media access control defined in the that is standard. It is shown in the figure here. You can see that. IEEE, this is between MAC and physical layer. The Zigbee works. It is intended for embedded applications, requires low power consumptions and tolerating low data rates. This is also a very low power consumption protocol. Also, it is simpler and less expensive than Bluetooth or general wireless network as a Wi-Fi. The only drawback is that is mainly installed as short range radio frequency. As opposed to the long range options LoRa, SIG-PHI and NB-IoT. In comparison to LoRa, SIG-PHI and NB-IoT that we are going to discuss in next slide, they are for long range, but this Zigbee is for very short range radio frequency. In private long range, next important protocol is SIG-PHI, sorry, SIGFOX. It provides a cellular style network operator that provides a tailor-made solution for low throughput Internet of Things and machine-to-machine applications. SIGFOX is an expensive but reliable, and also it's low power consumptions to connect the sensor and whatever the another devices is connected in the system. SIGFOX is rolling out the first global IoT network to listen to billions of objects broadcasting data without the need to establish and maintain network connections. This unique approach of SIGFOX in the world of wireless connectivity, where there is no signaling overhead, a compact and optimized protocol, and you can say where the objects are not attached to the network, it will work. SIGFOX offers a software-based communication solution where all the networks and computing complexity is managed in the cloud rather than on the device. All that together, it drastically reduces energy consumptions and cost of connected devices. Mainly, I will summarize this SIGFOX protocol focus on autonomy, simplicity, cost efficiency, small messages, and complementarity. Autonomy means extremely low energy consumptions, allowing year of battery life. This provides the feature autonomy. Simplicity, no configuration, connection required for signaling. Your device is up and running within minutes or sort of seconds. Cost efficiency, from the hardware used in the device to our network, we optimize every step to be a cost effective as possible. Small messages, no large assets or media allowed on the network. Only small notifications up to 12 bytes are transferable on the network. Complementarity, low cost and ease of configuration can be used as a secondary solution to any other type of networks. For example, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPRS, and etc. Portability is there. Dear friends, these three main protocols, if we will talk about now, this was over about the private long range. Third one, your category of accessing technologies, mobile IT technologies. If we'll talk about the mobile technologies, three important protocols are there to be discussed. LTE-M, NB-IoT, and EC-GSM for IoT devices. Dear friends, this is the response of proprietary low power technologies by three GPS. They can IoT centered flavor. Actually, three, four examples you have taken, the battery consumptions and all the things that was related with those. But while you are using the mobile technologies in IoT, let's have discussion about this LTE for mobile. This is abbreviation for LTE CAT M1 or long-term evolution. 4G categories M1. This technology is for Internet of Things devices to connect directly to a 4G network without any gateway, or so too much dependency on the batteries is not there. This LTE-M is a new long-range wide area LWPA technology deployed for IoT applications. It is the protocol for low bandwidth, especially while you are dealing with cellular communications, that connects to the internet, low complexity devices that transmit a small amount of data over long period of time with long power consumption. LTE-M is a wider bandwidth, allowed to achieve greater data rates, lower latency, and more accurate device positioning. This communication protocol also supports voice and mobility, provides extended coverage, and is ideal for machine-to-machine communication and solution that being used by IoT devices. This LTE-M supported by all major mobile equipment, chipsets, and module manufacturers. LTE-M networks will coexist with 2G, 3G, 4G mobile networks. And the biggest thing is the benefit from all the security and privacy features of mobile networks, such as support for the user, identity, confidentiality, entity authentication, data integrity, mobile equipment identifications. These all things are related with the LTE-M. Bottom line on LTE-M is means the additional features, benefits associated with this is it's a very cheap. Device can connect to 4G network with chips that are less expensive to make because they are half duplex and have a narrow bandwidth. Long battery life. Device can enter a deep sleep mode called power shaving mode. or wake up only previously while connected. That mode is called extended discontinuous reception, EDRX. Service costless. Yes, because the maximum data rates of LTE-M device is only about 100 kilobits per second. They do not tax the 4G network as much. Carriers can offer services plans that closer to old 2G M2M pricing than 4G pricing. The second important protocol in mobile technologies is related with IoT system architecture is NB-IoT, means narrowband Internet of Things. It's a standard-based, low-power, wide-range technology deployed to enable a wide range of new IoT devices and services. Narrowband NB-IoT is a new fast-growing wireless technology. 3GPP cellular technology standard introduced in release 13 that addresses the LWPA requirements of the IoT that was classified as a 5G technology. Yes, after 2016 onwards, while Jio has launched 4G in India, this NB-IoT was used in 5G technologies in abroad. NB-IoT significantly improves the power consumption of user devices, system capacity, and spectrum efficiency, and especially in deep coverage, inside the sea, inside the basement. It is characterized by excellent indoor coverage, support of a massive number of connections, cost efficiency, low device power consumption, and optimized network architecture, which is one of the biggest benefit. Works in one of the three ways. It works, NB-IoT works independently in unused 200 kilohertz bands that have previously been used for GSM, Global System for Mobile Communication. On LTE base stations, allocating a resource block of NB-IoT operations are in their guard band. Where these are applicable, where the areas is applicable, the one technology that is driving the NB-IoT adoption was presented by GSMA, and in the embedded SIM, eSIM enables devices like smartwatch, fitness tracker, and even glasses to have stand-alone mobile connectivity. NB-IoT applications can cross many services categories. Smart metering, electricity, gas, water, etc. Facility management services, intruder and fire alarms for homes and commercial properties, connected personal appliances, measuring health parameters, tracking of persons, animals, or objects, smart city infrastructure such as street lamps or dustbins. If they are IoT enabled, NB-IoT technology is very frequently being used there. Connected industrial appliances such as welding machine or air compressors. So dear friends, this was the second mobile IoT technology. Third one is your extended coverage. GSM means EC GSM IoT. GSM was already there in 2G, 3G, but here extended coverage. GSM, Internet of Things. It's a standard based, low power, wide area technology. It is based on eGPRS and designed as a high capacity, long range, low energy and low complexity cellular system for IoT communications. ECGSM IoT can be deployed via a software upgrade to the existing GSM network, thereby ensuring widespread coverage and accelerated time to market. ECGSM IoT connected devices can have a battery life up to 10 years across a wide range use cases. Supported by most major mobile equipments, chipsets, and module manufacturers, ECGSM IoT networks will coexist with conventional cellular network. This is one of the biggest advantage associated with this ESGSM IoT. So protocol for IoT, if we'll discuss, actually, dear friends, have you gone through the 7 layers of ISO model? I have just written the name of some another protocols. Few of them we have discussed here at the different layers. At the session layer, these are the protocols which are get frequently used: MQTT, SMQTT, Core, DDS, AMQP, XMPP, SCOPE. These are the protocols which are being used in session layer while we are going to deploy IoT architecture. And there are some protocols in network encapsulation, in network layer for the routing purpose. RPL, Core PL, and CARP is there for encapsulation. 6 LOPAN, 6 TISH, 6 LO threads. These are the protocols. We will talk about the data link layer: Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, low energy, Z-Wave, Zigbee, Smart, and several another with related with 3G, LTE, Wireless, Home Plus, GP. Number of protocols is mentioned there. If we'll talk about the security aspects, TCG, OAuth 2.0, SMAX, SSL, ISS Secure, ACE, DTLS, DICE. And we will talk about the managerial aspects. IEEE 1905 and IEEE 1451 is being used. These are the just for display number of IoT protocols. Apart from these difference, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, that is IEEE, and European Telecommunication Standard Institutes, they have also defined some of the most important IoT protocols. Among them, there is COPE and MQTT. COPE stands for Constrained Application Protocol. This protocol is specially designed for IoT system, and that is entirely based on hypertext transfer protocol. This was the COPE, and another one important protocol was there, MQTT, Message Queue Telemetry Transport. This protocol is the preferred option for IoT based devices and is able to provide efficient information routing functions to small chip, low memory, and power consuming devices in vulnerable manner and low bandwidth based network. If we will have architecture of this constraint application protocol, image is displayed there, how it is being deployed. The COPE environment is there, server is there, and these clients are there where this COPE protocol is being installed. These are the things in the IoT environment. This was created by IETF Constraint RAST Fuel Environment Core Working Group. COPE is an Internet Application Protocol for constrained devices. Constraint Application Protocol is designed to use between devices on the same constraint network, between devices and general nodes on the internet, and between devices on different constraint networks, both joined on the internet. It is used within mobile and social network based applications and eliminates ambiguity by using hypertext transfer protocol, get, post, push, and delete methods. Apart from communicating IoT data, this COAP protocol has been deployed along with DTLS for secure exchange of messages. It uses DTLS for secure transfer of data in the transport layer. The second one was MQTT, Important IoT Protocol. It's basically a messaging protocol, was deployed by Andy Stanford Clark of IBM and Ernest Nipper of Archon in 1999. It is mostly used for remote monitoring. If you have deployed IoT architecture in a particular field or particular location, you can have the thing server and remotely you can monitor that. Its primary task is to acquire data from the many devices and transport it to IT infrastructure. This protocol connects devices and networks with applications and middleware. It's an important aspect is related with this protocol. A hub and spoke architecture is natural for MQTT. All the devices connected to data concentrator servers like IBM's new message site appliances. This protocol works on the top of TCP to provide simple and reliable streaming of data. Here, a simple architecture is displayed. Actually, the subscribers are there. These are responsible to gather and transmit the data. Here, the devices are employed. The broker here is ensuring the security by cross-checking the authorization of the publishers and the subscriber. So, dear friends, here is a table comprising the three most widely used LPWA standard, means low power wide area, from a technological standpoint, means Sigfox, LoRa, and BI2. These three are the most important and most widely used IoT protocols. I have in this table, I just compared on the 6 parameters: number one, bandwidth, data rates, coverage, battery life, cost, and ecosystem. Just have a comparison. What is there? Bandwidth is required for Sigfox protocol is 100 hertz. LoRa works on 125 kilohertz. NB-IoT also works on 200 kilohertz. Data transfer rate is 100 bits per second in the case of Sigfox. In case of LoRa, it is 0.3 to 50 kbps. In case of NB-IoT, 200 kbps. Coverage, if Sigfox is deployed, it will cover the 17 kilometers of wide area. LoRa, coverage is also very good, 14 kilometers. NB-IoT is excellent. It's 22 kilometers. Entire the land of the paddy can be covered to stop the intrusion of the animals in the crop. A battery life, 5 to 10 years, 5 to 10 years, 5 to 10 years. It's equally cost. It's a little bit costlier, NB-IoT. Ecosystems are very weak, fragmented by region, and it's excellent. So, dear friends, there is no doubt that IoT is driving a lot of changes in connectivity. Among many other infrastructure technologies, the rule that connected devices impose over networking technologies is not the same as in our mobile phone. Very true. Today we are in the middle of a technology changes that we not yet realizes. As any transition, there are a lot of standards and legacy technologies fighting in the market, in the IT market. The winner would be the connectivity of choice by nearly 50 billion devices. Whatever technology manufacturers chooses, the device will come with built-in radio that will allow the device to connect to the networks. It entirely depends on the vendor, how much they embed the technology, how they are going to embed the manufacturers to provide the sensors and the actuators with enable these devices. With these few words, I conclude my speech with thanks to approaching me, particularly computer science and engineering department. Research scholar has contacted me, is a JL Sarkar, and the coordinator of this IoT FDP, Dr. Abhishek Majumdar. Very nice indeed, and thanks for considering me, calling me for the speech on IoT and its protocol. Thank you. Over to you, Abhishek ji.
Sir, once again, thank you so much, sir. And thank you for giving us your valuable time. Sir, actually, this is the era of 5G and 6G technology. And in such
Sure.
scenarios, sir, you have shared valuable information such as standard wireless access, chipset spectrum CSS technology, LoRa-based platform Zigbee, Sigfox, mobile IoT technologies, IoT communication protocols, sir. Thank you so much once again from the bottom of our
Thank
hearts,
you.
sir. And more
Thank you.
importantly,
Thank you. We will be in touch.
yes.
Actually, one of my friend, he is working on 6G. He is he is UK based. He was my roommate in my batchmate, and he is a director of that team which is working on 6G technology. He belongs to India. Is Gautam Hazari.
Okay, sir.
He is the chairman of the research team that is working on 6G. If you feel, and he is the man of the machine learning as well. I will tell you one of the example. He is working in collaboration with the hospital of UK. They have designed a IoT pacemaker. What does the pacemaker does? Simply a pacemaker for breathing. If the pacemaker IoT enabled is there, it has deployed there in UK. But he is working on its security. Suppose you are controlling someone else's heart through IoT devices through your mobile phone. What will happen? If the password and the access will go in hackers, they will suddenly kill you. So Gautam Hazari is working on the security of that IoT devices, which is embedded in pacemaker. It has been implemented. I think more than 50% they have deployed that pacemaker, IoT enabled. But they are making the security aspects more reliable. So if your students are will in near future, because we are now in contact with you,
Yes, sir.
I have got your phone number from your research scholar JL Sarkar. If you
Yes,
need
sir.
to have such types of deliberations, I will definitely call the Gautam because he is social as well. Sunday, Saturday, he delivers the lecture on some important topics related with society. Thank you, Abhishek ji,
Thank you.
once
Thank you, sir.
again for calling me
Thank
on
you.
this side.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, sir.
Namaskar to all of you,
Namaskar.
to
Thank you,
whole
sir.
the team.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. May I leave, Abhishek, now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can leave, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Abhishek.
So, dear participants, please kindly fill up the feedback form, and it is very important for us for taking 80% attendance. Actually, this is the end of our today's session. So tomorrow, our session will be start from 10:30 a.m. by Padma Shri Rama Rao sir. So please kindly be with us and connect at the same time with the same link. Thank you so much to all, and good day.